Section A. Section A is everything that is the engine compartment of the vehicle. It's everything in the very front section here. I'll start up with my lights. All of my lights are properly mounted secured, not cracked or broken, with no moisture behind the lens, and they work. The 3 lights up top in the center, those are the identification lights. The ones on each end, those are the clearance lights. For the headlight assembly, you have your low beam, which is the bigger light, your high beam, which is the smaller light. You have your amber light on the side. The functions of that amber light are parking, running, four-ways, and turn signals. Go around to the other side. On this side, there's only one part that they care about, and that's right here. It's going to be the belt-driven alternator. The belt-driven alternator is properly mounted secured, not cracked or broken, no signs of burns, corrosion, or any exposed wires. Seeing as it is belt-driven, the belt should have no more than 1/4 of an inch of free play in the center. It's not ripped or torn. Let's go around to the other side. So, from there, we have this part right here, which is going to be the belt-driven water pump. The belt-driven water pump is properly mounted secured, not cracked or broken, not leaking. Any hoses associated with it are soft and pliable and not leaking. Seeing as it is belt-driven, the belt should have no more than 1/4 of an inch of free play in the center. It's properly mounted secured, not ripped or torn. From there, up top here, you have your coolant reservoir. The coolant reservoir is properly mounted secured, not cracked or broken, not leaking. Should be filled to manufacturer specifications. All caps are present and tight, and any hoses associated with it are soft and pliable and not leaking. From there, you have your power steering fluid reservoir, which is properly mounted secured, not cracked or broken, and not leaking. Should be filled to manufacturer specifications. All caps are present and tight. Any hoses associated with it are soft and pliable and not leaking. From there, you have your dipstick, which while the engine is cool, you will pull it out, wipe it clean, reinsert, and take it out again. It should be above add and below max. If you need to add, you add up top. All right. Tucked in the frame, the part itself is impossible to point to, but these hoses here do go to it. That's going to be the gear-driven air compressor. The gear-driven air compressor is properly mounted secured, not cracked or broken, and not leaking. Any hoses associated with it are soft and pliable and not leaking. From there, we're going to go over our steering system. The entire steering system is properly mounted secured, not cracked or broken. There are no illegal welds, nothing is leaking, and all joints are well greased. So you have your steering shaft and your U-joints. You have your steering gearbox. This is where I said it's going to get difficult to see. You have your pitman arm, your drag link, your steering ring knuckle, and your tie rod, which is down at the bottom there. You can see that going right there. All of those parts are secured with a castle nut and a cotter pin. From there, you have your entire suspension system. The entire suspension system is properly mounted secured, not cracked or broken. There are no illegal welds. Nothing is leaking. And what is it? All joints are also well greased. So, in the very front here, you have your front spring hanger. You have your main leaf spring, which you can see going along the bottom there. You have your U-bolts. You can see those down there, which go over the saddle, around the leaf spring, and through the steer axle. You have your hydraulic shock absorber, which has nuts, bolts, and rubber bushings on the top and bottom. In the back, you can see down here, you have your rear spring hanger and your rear spring shackle, which is the flat metal there. The rear spring hanger and rear spring shackle are all secured with an eye bolt. So from there, you have your entire braking system. My entire braking system is properly mounted secured, not cracked or broken, no illegal welds, nothing is leaking, and all rubber is soft and pliable. So you have your brake chamber up top, along with the hose. You have your slack adjuster and push rod, which are secured with a clevis pin and a cotter pin. Should have no more than 1 inch of free play with the brakes released. Then on the inside, it's going to be very difficult to see here. You have your brake shoes and lining and your brake drum. The brake shoes and lining should have no less than 1/4 of an inch of friction material and be free of grease and oil. For the brake drum, should be free of grease and oil. If there's grease or oil on either of those parts, that would indicate an inner axle seal leak. From there, now we got the easy stuff to see. You got your steer tire. Your steer tire is properly mounted secure with no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or any exposed material on the sidewall. Tread depth no less than 4/32 of an inch in all of the major grooves. Same size and type across the axle. Filled to manufacturer specifications or from 100 to 110 psi. Should be seated to the rim, not leaking. These cannot be recapped. From there, you have your rim. Your rim, probably mounted secure, not cracked or broken with no illegal welds. There should be no sign of rust streaks or shiny metal, especially around your lug nuts, which will indicate looseness. All of your lug nuts are present and tight. The bottom here, you have your hub seal. Your hub seal is probably mounted secure, not cracked or broken, and not leaking. If it is leaking, that would indicate an outer axle seal leak. And you have your valve stem, which is right there. The valve stem, probably mounted secure, not cracked or broken, straight, has a metal cap, and not leaking. That's it for Section A.